So let's go ahead and start merging these branches. And I'm going to work through each branch one at a time. And you should do that even if you have multiple people working on your project. You should schedule a time when one person can actually look at doing the merge of their branch to the master branch. And then the next person can pull in that work and do their merge, and the next person and the next person, and so on. Um, so where to start? Well, um, I'm not sure it actually matters which story branch you start with. Um, Basically, what's going to happen is when you checked out the master branch and then made a story branch off of that, any changes that you make to the story branch are going to be ahead of the master branch when you made your branch. And it's really easy to merge those changes back to the original master branch. I mean, there's no way you can get a conflict. If you start at point A and you make a development branch and you make some changes to that copy and end up at point B, and everything in B builds on everything in A, and then you want to merge your changes back to A, Git just basically calculates all of the things that you added, getting from A to B, and applies those to A in the master branch. And so there can't be any merge conflicts on that first merge. However, after you've merged the changes from B back into the master branch, when you go to merge the next branch, you're not just merging the next branch against A, the original master branch when you made this new branch. You're also merging it against all of the changes you just merged in from B. And so basically you're comparing C to both A and B. And then when you get to D, you have to compare D with A that includes B and C. And so, I mean, I'm not sure in the long run that any particular order is going to be easier than any other order. But I'm going to start with the biggest change first. Because I'm going to get that one essentially for free, and then I'm going to have to pay the price later on down the road when I'm merging into the branch. But um, anyways, so episode ratings, I think, is the story that has the most code associated with it, and the most drastic changes. And so my goal here is going to be to merge the episode rating branch into the master branch. But I'm not just going to merge episode ratings into master. What I'm going to do instead is merge master into episode ratings and then fix all of those conflicts. And then when I have all of those conflicts resolved, then wherever I am in episode ratings is going to be ahead of wherever the master branch currently is. And that makes it trivial to merge back into the master branch. So the reason I'm doing it this way is just basically you never want to have non-working code in the master branch. Everything that's checked into the master branch should always work. And so when I bring the code from the master branch into episode ratings, there could easily be some points in time where the code doesn't work, where it doesn't compile until I fix it. So by doing the merge into episode ratings, even if I break episode ratings, I know that there's still a working version of the code in the master branch. And that wouldn't necessarily be the case if I did it the other way around, if I merged episode ratings into master to start. So to merge into episode ratings, first I check out episode ratings. And then to merge, what I do is git merge master. And I'm already up to date with respect to master. So let's do git pull just to make sure. Pretty sure that's okay. Yeah. So no conflicts there. I can do git diff episode ratings Git diff master will show me the difference between the branch I'm currently on, episode ratings, and the master branch. And so minus is things that are in the master branch but not in my current branch, episode ratings, and it's showing in red. And then plus is things that are in my current episode ratings branch that aren't in master, and those are shown in green. So I see in my demo UI, I have some different imports. I have some different minor changes to create GUI. I renamed main UI class and form in master to main UI form in episode ratings. There's an additional show series info code in main UI form. There's some changes to database. I changed the SQL query that finds the shows. So it includes a couple of additional columns, basically, and it has to include that. I'm joining to a new table that has information about the series that a TV episode came from. So I'm basically joining with Title Basics twice now instead of once. And so I have to prefix that with the table name. And there's also another query added in the database to fetch episodes given a series. So here's my find shows method. And it's a little different because there are a couple of additional columns that it's fetching. It's got tconst, parent tconst. Parent tconst is new, parent title is new. And then I think title type, I didn't used to save that, and I didn't used to save the ID of the show or the ID of the parent. Now I need them so that I can fetch the series info. And then here's a fetch method to fetch the episodes for a show. That's all new. And then in episode.java, basically I have a whole bunch of new files, and I'm not going to walk you through all of them. So always run the code, make sure it works after you've done the merge. And if I had gotten some merge conflicts, I would actually get errors in the compilation that would point me to where I had those merge conflicts. Okay, so interface looks like master, but these buttons are grayed out. And if I search for TV episode and then click on that, episode ratings works. IMDb page works. And then let me also search for TV series and episode ratings for Batman, the animated series, and the IMDb page. So that all looks like it works. Go ahead and change that. Still works. Good. So now my episode ratings branch has all of this stuff in the latest version of master. So I can do git status. Nothing to commit because when I did the merge, episode ratings was already ahead of master. So all I need to do this merge is git checkout master. And now I can merge episode ratings into master. Okay. And this gives me a list of the changes, and basically what it's doing is it's taking the changes from episode ratings and applying them to the files inside of my master branch. This is where what I'm really looking for is anything that says merge conflict. And I haven't gotten any merge conflicts here, and so I'm good. At this point, I'm going to do a git status to see what's different. And nothing's different because I've successfully merged all these things. So I've basically committed already, and all I have to do now to push it to the remote repository is git push. Okay, so I pushed master to master. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the repository on GitHub. And I'm working in the demo UI repository. So here's my master branch, and I see under source UI that I have all the latest stuff. So I already have the code refactored into components, main UI, and infograph. And then the stuff in main UI has been renamed to main UI form and so on. So master branch is good, has story 1. Next story, let's do get branch -a. Let's go ahead and do more table info. So more table info is the thing that had the additional columns in the table. So this time I will start to get merge conflicts because I changed the query for episode ratings, and I also changed the query for more table info. And so there's going to be changes to the database layer, and the constructors for show in the logic layer is going to be different for this and for that. And there's going to be some impact in the presentation layer as well. So this is kind of a worst case because each of these development branches is basically touching the same small set of files. Hopefully when you've been working on your own story branch, you've been working on a different set of files than other people have been working on in their branches. And that's going to make merging a whole lot easier. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and check out more table info. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before, which is get merge master. So this time I got merge conflicts. So I got merge conflicts in main UI form, in the actual form, in show, and in database. But these auto merging here works. This one didn't work. This was the only one that didn't work. Database.java automatic merge failed. Fix conflicts and then commit the results. So if I go ahead, let me minimize that. If I go back here, here's the problem. It's in this database file. And let me minimize that. Make that a little bigger. So what I'm looking for is this kind of boundary here. And merge conflict is going to be shown in Git and in my development environment by a bunch of angle brackets. And then this is this is the stuff from the branch I'm currently in. And head means wherever I am right now. So right now I'm in the more table info. So this code here is from more table info all the way up to that line. And then this code here is from master. So here's the master version, and here's the more table info version, and they're different queries. And it's not clear to Git how to actually combine these two queries. And in addition to the two queries that are different, there's also an additional query in the master branch for fetch episodes query that isn't in the more table info branch. So I have to understand this code well enough to make a decision as to which version I want to keep or whether I want to try to combine them into two things. Just looking at find show SQL, it's basically the same as what I had in the master branch, except that I have a couple of additional fields coming in, and I might have needed to do some additional joins here to get those fields. So specifically, what I added for the episode ratings was getting these two things here. This one I had already, but I wasn't returning. This is a new one, and I had to join with title episode and with title base, actually just with title episode to get that one. And then I also have tb2.primary title as parent title. And so I also had to do this second join to title basics to get the title of the TV series for a show that has a TV episode. And then if I look up here, I don't have, actually I do have parent title already. And I have child tconst, which is the ID, and parent tconst, which is the ID of the series. So all of the columns that I added to the select clause are also already in the select clause of this query, which basically means in this case I can just take the query from more table info and then delete the query from the master branch. And then I want to keep this fetch episodes query from the master branch. And I've resolved the merge conflict here. So now there's another merge conflict down here in find shows, because the old query in master has a different set of columns coming back than the new query in more table info. So let's actually look at what we have. So title type we have in both. Start year we have in both. Parent title we have in both. Primary title we have in both. And parent tconst we do not have in both. So we need parent tconst. Actually, we have parent tconst here. So looks to me like we have all 5 of these things elsewhere. So here it doesn't really matter which one I take because I'm going to end up with all the columns, but I'm going to go ahead and take this out here. And then that. And this should have all of the columns from both sets. And then I just have to make sure that this constructor for show is got the same order as these columns here. So let's go ahead and look at what we have here. I'm going to go ahead and copy the constructor and go back to database, and let's go ahead and paste this in as a comment. And we do a little editing. And then break it up a little bit. This is just so that I can see that I have the things in the right order and the right types. So I have ID, which is tconst, and title, type, parent title, start year, runtime minutes, rating, num votes, genres, num episodes, and parent ID is parent tconst. So that looks like it works. And I've resolved all of the merge conflicts at this point. Let's go back to show. So here's a merge conflict in show as well. So here I have a different set of properties and a different constructor. And the one I was just looking at is this one right here, and this one matches what I was just working on. So I want to take the stuff from the current branch and get rid of the stuff from the master branch. And then I have a couple of minor errors, so let's look at what we have here. So this get title type is returning title type, but here it's just type right there. So I'm going to fix that. And then I already have title type here. It's actually down here. Let's actually resolve this conflict. So here too, I'm going to go ahead and take the stuff that's in head and not the stuff that's in master, because head is a more complete set. So I have two copies of that one and this one, and they're both the same. So which one do I want? Doesn't matter. It's the same code. And that's all the conflicts there. So let's go ahead and see if it actually compiles and runs. And if I missed some merge conflicts, it'll go ahead and give me errors. So I'm going to run. Okay, so I did miss some. So here I am in main UI form.java. And I can choose between default table model, show table model, and basically I want all three of these things here. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to keep show table model from more table info, and I also want to keep current shows and selected show from episode ratings. And then this main UI form, I have a couple of additional calls added, so I want to keep those. And let's see what we have here. So here in show shows, I'm setting up the table, I'm clearing it out, and then I have some logic for deciding what columns to display. And then the alternative version is I just display the columns. So here, for the more table info, I want to keep the more complicated version of the code because that has the additional logic in it. And then get rid of that boundary. And then down a little farther, here in setup table, I'm making a model and setting it as a property here. I have all of these columns, whereas in the master branch, I just have the 4 columns. So here too, I want to take the one that has the additional new columns and get rid of the version that only has 4 columns. And then I also added an override of is cell editable to make the table contents not be editable. And I want to keep that change. So I'm going to leave that in. And here I'm setting column properties. And setting widths, but I had that down here further. So I think I can get rid of this code as well. Actually, what I need is to close that off. So let's actually see where I am here. I'm going to go get rid of this boundary for a minute. And then let's see what this lines up with. So this lines up with here, and that's not good. So I can get rid of that line for sure. And then I'm getting the column model there, making a cell renderer. And I'm not using that columns until I get to here. Here I only have 3 columns though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that and get rid of that. and get rid of that boundary. And then here, I'm going to keep all of this stuff up to here. So this stuff is redundant. This stuff with the selection model, that's new. So I don't have that yet. And that's the stuff that causes the buttons to light up when I click on various series, TV series or TV episodes in the table. So I want to keep that and then get rid of the boundary at the end. So in this case, it was a little difficult because I want to take a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B and sort of mix them together. But I think that's probably right. And then down here, looks like everything is okay. So this create table I called setup table in the other place. So one place it was called setup table, the other was create table. So let's fix that. Actually, it's setup table here too. So let's change that to create table. And then shows here is actually current shows here. And then let's actually look at show and see what the parent ID column is called. So it looks like I don't have an accessor for parent ID, but I do have the property for it. So let's add the accessor for that. Okay, so now we have one of those. And then we also need get ID. So let's make sure we don't have one of those. Yep, it's the ID property, but we don't have a getter. So let's add a getter for that. Okay, and then that's it for that. And that seems to be everything. Okay, so let's try running it again and see if we still have anything that we need to resolve. Okay, cannot find method get primary title. So I did miss that one. So we'll go back to show and we have parent title and get title, but not primary title. So I think we want to use get title there instead of get primary title. Okay, and then run. Good, no errors so far. And here it is. So we have our big screen with lots of columns, and these buttons are grayed out. And let's go ahead and click on a TV series. Let's find a TV series. And let's look at Avatar, The Last Airbender, episode ratings. So that works. Let's go to the Internet Movie Database page for that. Avatar, The Last Airbender. Let's see the top rated episode on Game of Thrones is there. Reigns of Castamere. So that's all working. So we have our episode rating stuff and we have our more table info stuff all in the same branch. Let's go ahead and look at episodes, and we get the series title, number of episodes. So good. That's all looking good. So what I'm going to do now is do git status. And so I have some changes to be committed that were automatically staged when I did the merge. So these are things that didn't have any kind of conflict associated with them, or things that the system was able to resolve automatically. And then I have some things that haven't been staged yet where I did get merge conflicts, and I just resolved those in Git, in IntelliJ rather. So what I can do is git dot git commit -m fixing merge conflicts, git status. Okay, so that's clean. I'm going to go ahead and git push that to the remote repository. And I don't remember whether I pushed episode ratings to the remote repository as well. So do git check out episode ratings, and then git push, just in case I forgot to do that before. No, I did. I did it already. Okay, now I'm going to go to git master. And this next step should be really easy because more table info is ahead of the master branch. So I can just git merge more table info. And easy. Let's run it again just to make sure. So this is the version on the master branch, and I'm running it. Should all work exactly the same as it just did in the more table info branch. So let's go ahead and search for TV series, Attack on Titan, episode ratings, and Internet Movie Database. Good. So that looks good. I'm going to git status. Nothing to commit, so git push. All right, so that's half of the branches. I think the other two will be a little easier, but we'll do that in the next video.